Hello everyone, welcome to Lukmaan IAS. Today we are going to have the Hindu newspaper analysis dated 16th of October 2023. In today's newspaper analysis, we are going to cover those topics that are important for the UPSC Civil Services Examination. And before we cover those topics, we are going to discuss about a mapping topic, right? So let us start the discussion. First of all, these are the list of articles that we are going to cover in today's discussion session, okay? So now let us discuss about the first mapping topic. This topic has been in news, right? So in one of the editorials, so this the region Haiti was in news. So we are going to talk about where is Haiti located, okay? So we are going to discuss about the map of a country which is known as Haiti, okay? So Haiti has been in news. So I have included two maps to make you understand where is Haiti located. So when we talk about Haiti, so Haiti is part of one specific island, right? So it covers 1/3 of that island. So to the western part of that island, we have Haiti. So this is the map of Haiti, as we can see over here, okay? So this is the map of Haiti, right? So this is the country, right? So this Republic of Haiti is a country. So where is this country located? This country is located between North America and South America. So this is in the Caribbean region. So here we have an ocean which is known as Atlantic Ocean. So Atlantic Ocean is there, like, you know, this Haiti country is a part of an island which is there in Atlantic Ocean. To the south of Haiti, we have the Caribbean Sea. Okay, this is Caribbean Sea. This is important. And these are some of the places, I mean, like, that are mentioned in some, like Gulf de la Gonave, I mean, like, you know, so this is a Gulf, right? So this is the thing. Apart from this, this is another map. So this is, let's say, like, you know, zoomed in map. So it only showcases where is Haiti located. Apart from this, this is another map. It showcases, let's say, the small portion. It showcases the world map. And in the world map, where is Haiti located? Haiti is located somewhere here, right? Over here. That's the thing. So this is North America, this is South America. To the right of it, we have Atlantic Ocean. To the left of it, we have Pacific Ocean. So Haiti is located somewhere here, okay? So it is part of the Caribbean countries, okay? So this is, let's say, like, you know, this is the Haiti region over here. This is the Haiti, this is the country, Haiti. It has been in news, as we have seen there in the previous map, that Haiti is located in the Atlantic Ocean. Just below Haiti, we have this Caribbean Sea, okay? And this is Gulf of Mexico, which is far away from Haiti, okay? This is the thing. So this Haiti country was in news, and let us talk about one important thing related to Haiti. And this is there in the island of Hispaniola, okay? It is in Greater Antilles, okay? So this island, this overall island, this island is known as Island of Hispaniola, okay? So Haiti country occupies 1/3 of this particular island, okay? It does not occupy the entire island. So 1/3 of this island is occupied by Haiti. And to the right, we have, let's say, some other region. This is important. And this island of Hispaniola, this name is also important, okay? So this is important for the mapping region. So you will be understanding about the importance of mapping, right, through these topics. Recently, I mean, like, you know, one of the country has agreed to provide military support to Haiti, right? So in Haiti, some armed group have taken over some regions, I mean, petroleum and other thing. So that has led to a halt of law and order in the country. So United Nations organization has approved, let's say, one of the armed interference into Haiti. So that's why it was in news. We will discuss about it through an article today. So this is the first topic that we are going to discuss. It says the Israel-Hamas conflict and Nusseibeh analysis, okay? So this topic is related to what? Israel-Hamas conflict that is happening. So this has been in news, so that's why we need to understand about this topic, okay? Name of the topic is the Israel-Hamas conflict. the Israel-Hamas conflict and Nusseibeh analysis. That's the thing. So here in this article, they have talked about the Israel-Hamas conflict that is happening. So quickly, within a minute, I'm going to give a brief, let's say, brief about this conflict. Okay, brief about this conflict. So let's discuss about it. Okay, recently the Hamas, which is a military group, right? This is a military group. That support the cause of the Palestinians, okay, of the Palestinians. They support the cause of the Palestinians. They have launched an armed attack. They have launched around 5,000 missiles, right? 5,000 missiles on Israel. And many Israeli citizens, I mean, like, you know, the civilians have been killed in that attack. And Israel as a defense measure, right? So they have a defense weapon which is known as Iron Dome. Okay, they have Iron Dome. And this Iron Dome is able to intercept any kind of missile that comes, let's say, like, you know, this is, let us just quickly draw a map of Israel. Let's say this is Israel, okay, or not this way. Let's say this is the map of Israel. And this is West Bank, or we can say it to be the Gazan territory, okay. So the thing is, like, in Israel, this is Israel. In Israel, they have these iron domes. They are able to intercept, they are able to detect if any missile is attacking, and they are able to destroy the missile on the air itself. However, they have a capacity of destroying up to 20 missiles, let's say, like, you know, per minute, 20 missiles per minute. But the thing is, like, you know, what they have done, Hamas people, they have launched 5,000 missiles within half an hour. Means, like, you know, much beyond the capacity of the Iron Dome thing. So that's how, means, like, they were able to kill many citizens. They were able to destroy the Israeli, let's say, army settlements and all. So that has been a major attack. And in this article, the author has said it was because of intelligence failure in Israel. Okay, so there was a failure of what? Intelligence input. Okay, intelligence input. Failure was there. In where? In Israel. So they have failed to gather the information. If they would have gathered the information, they would have, let's say, taken measures to stop casualties, to stop, let's say, killing of civilians in Israel. However, this attack has happened, and this attack has given a reason to Israel to attack on Hamas. Okay, reason to Israel to attack on Hamas as a retaliatory measure. So under international law, it is permitted that, like, if you are attacked by an enemy, you do have the, let's say, like, you know, you do have the right to self-defense. You do have the right to retaliate against the enemy. That's the thing. But the retaliation that should happen, that retaliation should be proportionate. Okay, it should be proportionate. I mean, like, you know, it should not be disproportionate. For example, if they have launched 5,000 missiles, Israel has also launched 6,000 missiles. Okay, they have also launched around 6,000 missiles on Hamas. They have launched more missiles on Hamas. So that's the thing. It has led to killing of many people. And so under international law, it is permitted that, like, you can attack the enemy. But the thing is, like, international law makes a what we say categorization, that in an armed conflict, what you can do is, like, you can only kill, attack the army officials, the, let's say, army establishments, army weapons, ammunitions. You should distinguish the civilians and the army. Okay, that's part of international law. The Rome Statute says that particular thing. Okay, but in this article, they have not discussed about that factor. That factor is discussed in some other article. Here they have talked about that there was an intelligence failure in Where? In Israel, and this has led to killing of huge number of people. So they have talked about this particular thing, and in this article they have talked about that this attack that Hamas has done, it's a victory for Hamas, because Hamas is a small group. They wanted to gain attention, they wanted to, let's say, make the world aware of the injustice that the Israel has done in the past to them, the injustice that Israel has done to Palestine by capturing their territory. So anyhow, the attack that they have launched is a win for the for the Hamas people. But the thing is, Israel, while attacking, they are justifying their attack that since you have killed our citizens, since you have, let's say, attacked us, so we have the right to attack you. But in this case also, everyone knows who is going to lose. Who is going to lose in terms of, let's say, weapon capacity, in terms of this thing. Hamas being a very small group, they may be overpowered by Israel at a later date. Even the Hamas knows this particular thing. Israel also knows that, Hamas cannot be defeated. Why? Because the ideology that is there behind Hamas, this ideology cannot be defeated. Okay, Israel also knows. So both are not winning in that sense. They are not winning, let's say, they are not losing ideologically, and they are not losing with reference to weapons, with reference to this particular thing. Yeah. So, but this Gaza Strip, it has been surrounded by Israel and its forces from the sea routes. Sea routes have been blocked. Recently, America has stationed one of its warplane, ship in this Mediterranean Sea, which will block all access to Hamas for any weapons. That's the thing. And air thing, they are doing attack through air. That's the thing. And recently, the people of Gaza, they have been asked to move to the south portion of Gaza. Okay, means by the Israeli, let's say, army. But whether this is right under international law or not, this has to be, let's say, discussed. So if they say something like this, they have to give proper time to people to evacuate. And if people get proper time to evacuate, if they evacuate, so the Israeli forces will be able to attack on the army establishments that are there. If they do not evacuate, it is still the responsibility of the state of Israel and of Palestine to protect the civilians, because civilians are not directly in a state of war with another country. So civilians are there to live their life peacefully, to enjoy the family time, to do these things. But they are now embroiled in a, let's say, warlike situation. So in this article, they have discussed about the rights of the citizens. They have discussed about a failure of intelligence. They have discussed about that, why other countries, other Gulf countries are not supporting the Palestine much. Because there has been a time when Yasser Arafat, right, he has taken the side of Saddam Hussein. Okay, so he has taken the side of Saddam Hussein. So that was against the interest of the Gulf countries, right? Some of the Gulf countries. So that has been the case. So that's why, here they have mentioned that, one should not forget that Kuwait had expelled nearly 1 lakh Palestinians in the early 1990s because Arafat had sided with Saddam Hussein during the first Gulf War. Okay, so that's the thing. So that's why, that's why the Kuwait or some other countries are not supporting Palestinian the way that they should be doing. However, if we talk about Hamas, this Hamas is supported by Iran, right? It is supported by Iran. Iran has Shia militia, and in the streets of Iran also, that's in the capital, there are protests, anti-Israeli protests that is happening. So Vishal Kumar, good evening, sir. Hamas is a military group or a terror group? Please clarify. Basically, it depends from which side we are seeing. If we are seeing it from the side of Palestine, so it will be a military organization. If we see it from the side of Israel, so it will be terror organization, terror outfit. Okay, so there is no uniform definition of terrorist or terrorist organization in international law as of now. Okay, so that's why it depends from which side we are seeing. Okay, if we see from the side of the people who are located in Hamas region, so for them the Hamas is a military group, right? And for Israeli people see Hamas as a terror organization, right? But there have been instances they have signed Oslo Accords. So Israel and Palestine, they have signed Oslo Accords, Oslo Accord 1, Oslo Accord 2. So if a state is signing accord with, let's say, like another state, so that state, I mean, like that thing should not be categorized as terror organization. Will any state sign agreement with terror organization? No, generally, I mean, like, it is not done. So this is the thing. I hope like Vishal has got the perspective of this topic. So that's the thing. So here in this article, they have talked about analysis by a person. His name is like this Nusseibeh. Okay, so his name is Nusseibeh. So Nusseibeh, actually, he has written a like book. It is known as "What is a Palestine State Worth?" Means like what is the worth of Palestine state. Okay. So they have talked about that, like, if we have a Palestinian state, what it's worth. And here he has argued that the state is for people and not the other way around. I mean, like, if we have a state, so the state exists for protecting the rights of the people, for protecting the, let's say, liberty of the people. It's not the thing that people are existing for supporting the state. That's the thing. So in this article, I mean, like in this book, which is what is a Palestinian state worth, this book has been written by Nusseibeh. Okay, so he has talked about the worth of a state. He has talked about that here the governing group in the government, I mean, like, people who are in the government of Israel, people who are holding the authority in Israel. So they have an interest of staying in power. People who are part of the government, they have interest to stay in power. And to stay in power, they need patriotic support of the people. They need support of the people. And to garner those supports, they, let's say, like, train their military people to even, let's say, like, sacrifice their life for the cause of the nation. I mean, like, the military people are trained in such a manner that they can go to the war field, they can fight with the enemy, they can get killed in the war zone, and they will be called patriotic. No politician goes in the war field to fight. I mean, that's the thing. So people, the politician, the people in the authority, they just want to maintain their, what we say, authority. They want to maintain their power. So these people who are in power in Israel, they will never wish that, like, they should cede any territory to other countries, because it is in their interest of staying in power, because people want to keep their territory with themselves. That's the thing. Okay. So like Nusseibeh's analysis in the case of the ongoing war would suggest that both Israeli and government and Hamas know that they simply cannot achieve their respective goals. Okay. So here they have talked about that neither Israel can achieve its goal, nor Hamas can achieve its goal. So through this article, he has also pointed out the issue of Kashmir. That issue of Kashmir, like, people of Kashmir want to stay peaceful. They want to stay in their own region. They want minimal interference from any government. Okay. So some part of Kashmir is in India. It is sovereign part of India. But some part of Kashmir is in Pakistan. So it is under Pakistani control. So that is known as Pakistan occupied Kashmir from India. So India knows it as Pakistan occupied Kashmir. The part of the Kashmir which is with India, so Pakistan says it to be India occupied Kashmir. Okay, they say India occupied Kashmir. So the thing is, the ideology varies from country to country, but the inherent will of the people of Pakistan, people of Kashmir, what they want a peaceful place to reside. They want a peaceful place to, let's say, like, live their life and with their family. They want minimal government interference into their day-to-day life. But because of the ongoing tension, so achieving this peace has become very difficult for their people, for the people who reside over there. So they say that this Nusseibeh analysis can be applied in the Kashmir region also. Okay, so that's what the author has talked. So it says that applying Nusseibeh's logic, preserving is those objectives, therefore immoral and unethical. Okay, persevering should not some compromise. So the thing is, like, they want none of the state is going to compromise. India is not willing to compromise. Pakistan is not willing to compromise. Either there can be war between them, but like, if they want to stay peaceful, so the status quo remains. It's the thing. So they say both sides behaving immorally and unethically, pushing ordinary citizens into jaws of death. I mean, like, Hamas has attacked on Israel. They have put ordinary citizens into death. Many people have been killed. Similarly, Israel has also attacked on Hamas. Many people have been killed. Many people are being displaced. So that's, I mean, like ultimately the citizens, ultimately the ordinary citizens are suffering. Okay, that's the thing. I mean, like people who are war heroes, I mean, like who go into war, the army people. So they have to take the interest of the nation first. They have to defend their country. They have to, let's say, even if required, they are willing to, let's say, like, sacrifice their lives. But normal citizens who are not warring with anyone, they are also being killed. Okay. So now let us talk about one question. It says, with reference to Oslo Accords, consider the following statements. Okay. Oslo Accords are a series of agreements signed by the government of Israel and the leadership of Palestine Liberation Organization. This is right. The Oslo Accords were ratified in Washington, D.C. in 1993, Oslo 1, and in Taba, Egypt, 1995, Oslo 2. Both are correct to my viewpoint. Okay, so answer C should be the right answer. Yes, C is right. Both are correct. Statement 1, statement 2, both are correct. Okay, Oslo Accords. Yesterday I talked, means like on Saturday I discussed about Oslo Accords in detail. So today we have included a question on this. Good evening, Vijay. Thank you so much for joining and participating in the discussion. Now with this, like we will talk about another topic. This topic is also important, right? It says the world needs to stop taking water for granted. This topic has an inherent message that it wants to give, right? So we are going to discuss about this topic. Name of the topic is the world needs to stop taking water for granted. So what is this topic all about? We will discuss about the context of the topic. So today, which is 16th of October 2023. So on this day, we are celebrating World Food Day. Okay, we are celebrating World Food Day. World Food Day. We are celebrating World Food Day. Okay, 16th of October 2023 is World Food Day. And what is the theme of this World Food Day? It is water is life, water is food. Okay, so its theme is water is life, water is food. So this is the theme, water is life, water is food. This is the theme of World Food Day. So on this day, actually, we are putting emphasis on the role of water in our life and how water is also food. Because like without water, none of the life can survive on the earth. I'm like, we will not be able to survive if we do not have water. None of the human beings will be able to survive if we do not have water. And the thing is, like, we have seen increasing scarcity of water, increasing scarcity of potable water. I mean, like, the drinking water availability is going down day by day. Why? Because the groundwater is being depleted, because the water that we are getting from rainwater, it is acidic water, acid rain that is happening. And also water in the rivers, ponds, oceans, they are also polluted from time to time. Okay, so that's why water is, let's say, like becoming a very scarce resource. And because of this, like, the world, on this World Food Day, the United Nations organization or the Food and Agriculture Organization, they want to put an emphasis on water, that water is life, water is food. So this article has been written in that context. They say that the world needs to stop taking water for granted. I mean, like, we should not take water for granted. We need to preserve water. We need to make the water, let's say, like, available to every human being in the quantity that is needed by them. we should not waste water. I mean, like, we should not overutilize water. So they have said that the theme of the World Food Day, which is October 16 this year, is water is life, water is food. Okay. So calls for urgent action in managing water wisely. Okay. So we need to manage water wisely. With less than 7 years left to achieve UN Sustainable Development Goals, the Food and Agricultural Organization of the United Nations, the International Fund for Agricultural Development, and the United Nations World Food Programme. These are United Nations food agencies. They lay stress on the need to adopt innovative and collaborative approaches for improved management, conservation, and availability of scarce water resources. So here they have talked about 3 organizations. These 3 are food organizations of the UN. One is Food and Agriculture Organization. The second organization that they have mentioned is the International Fund for Agriculture Development, IFAD. Okay, International Fund for Agriculture Development. And the third organization that they have mentioned is United Nations World Food Programme, okay, WFP. So these are the 3 organizations. They have together put emphasis on water. They have put emphasis that water should be wisely utilized. And if you want to achieve the target of the Sustainable Development Goals, so Sustainable Development Goals has a target that, like, clean water, like, water in the ocean, water on the earth, let's say below the earth, or like, above there. So water should be clean. So water as a resource, it has been given emphasis on United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Okay, United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. And to achieve those targets, we need to put emphasis on wise utilization of water. So water and crop production. So in this article, they have talked about how, I mean, like, how much percentage of water is needed for crop production worldwide in different regions of the world. Okay, they have said that, like, we need to adapt for climate change. If climate change is happening, so we need to adapt, right? We need to, let's say, make the water more more available to people, and cleaner water. I mean, like, we should strive for proper water management and utilization. So it says steps needed to achieve global food and nutrition security. Political commitment is needed as much as concrete investment. The needed policies and investment must promote innovative and proven technologies that allow farmers to increase their productivity, adapt to climate change, and become more resilient to shocks. Environmentally and socially sustainable and financially viable irrigation and water management strategies. Reduce their climate footprints on agricultural production. So they have talked about what steps are needed, right? So they have discussed about many steps that are needed. Okay, so they have talked about these steps. You can go through it. They have also mentioned about 2 innovative approaches. One is solar for resilience and secure fishing, and the rival of millets for renewable energy promotion, food security and nutrition. So they have talked about that water is important for food security, for nutrition. Water plays one of the most vital role in our life, and that's why we need to preserve water, we need to use water judiciously, and we need to go for wise management of water. And only then we will be able to achieve sustainable development goal related to water. Vijay Lal has said, can we do virtual water trade? For we are exploiting more water intensive crop exports, sir. See, virtual water trades means, like, just creating a security for this. I mean, like, but the thing is, water is needed in actual terms. For example, if we talk about gold, so we have come up with sovereign gold scheme. So instead of having physical gold, we have given, let's say, like, gold papers, gold bonds, but that can meet the demand of, let's say, investment, because people do not need physical golds, let's say, like, to generate profit out of the investment that they are making. It can be done through papers also. But when we talk about water, it is in actual, it is needed by people. Okay, so that's why it is going to be very difficult. I mean, like, water is a scarce resource, but at the same time, this is an essential resource that people need, like, for their day-to-day consumption. Okay, so this thing is a widely, what we say, like, debatable topic that you have mentioned. So that's the thing. Now let us talk about another topic. It says closing the gender gap pay in the workplace. So as we all know that this is the image of Claudia Goldin. Okay, this is the image of Claudia Goldin. So this person, she's a professor with Harvard. I think she's a professor with Harvard or Oxford, and she has been awarded, right, Swaraj's prizes in economic sciences for 2023. Although this is not a Nobel Prize, because Nobel Prize is given for experimental work, I mean like for physics, chemistry, medicine, etc. But this is also equivalent to Nobel Prize, and in fact in this article the author has referred this prize to Nobel Prize. So this person has got, like, Swaraj's prizes on economic sciences for economics, okay, for economics. And in her work she has talked about importance of, gender gap, right? We need to bridge the gender gap in the workplaces. And this person has done, let's say, analysis of 2 years history of gender disparity in the United States of America. She has gone through, let's say, like various works of different authors. She has talked about, let's say, like, during agrarian economy, what was the participation of women when industrialization came, right? So what was the participation of women in the work? Okay, so let's say, like, this is during agrarian economy. So that time there were participation of women, and when industrialization happened, okay, industrialization or manufacturing thing came, so that time participation of women went down, and then the service sector, in the service sector, the participation of women has improved. So she has talked about a U-shaped curve. She has talked about that when women are at home, so women are at home because of many reasons. I mean, like, they trade their time for their family. I mean, like, they give more time to family, which is known as, like, in this article she has referred to like one important thing is mommy track. I mean, like, she follows the path of, let's say, like, nurturing her family members, mommy track. And at the same time her husband, I mean, like, the male counterpart, he goes to work, he does more work so that he can support the family. So this has led to a kind of gender disparity at workplace. So people, I mean, like, pay less to women at the workplace because women are less available for work. I mean, like, in workplace, whenever they need, let's say, like, more participation, let's say extra work, I mean, work in odd hours. So it was the male most of the time who was available for those extra work hour. And in this article they have talked about that industries prefer to hire less number of people. I mean, like, so they have said, like, they can hire 2 people, okay, they can hire 2 people, and these 2 people can do overwork, okay, they can do overwork. And so these people can be incentivized, but the, I mean, like, companies do not have to pay for the third person in the sense, if they get a third person, so they have to pay other kind of benefits to the third person. For example, social security benefit, okay, so they have to give social security benefit, they have to give other kind of benefits. So that's why industries have preferred to hire less number of people and get more work done through them. So that has been the case. But the thing is, like, it was empirically proved that, like, more number of hours in the workplace does not translate into more productivity, okay. So that's the thing. So however, like, there has been disparity in the US in the economy, and now, like, people have understood about the importance of having what, like, weekly offs, or 2 times off in a week, or 3 times off in a week. So that has been the case. So in this article they have talked about that the workplace, the nature of workplace is greedy. I mean, like, they want more, let's say, like, people to be more productive, they want people to work more, right, over and above the, let's say, regular schedule. So those people who were able to devote more time were the male counterparts. So that has led to a kind of disparity at the work. So in this article the author has discussed about, let's say, the overworked American. I mean, like, so there was a there was a scholar, her name is Juliet Shore. She has talked about the overworked American, that it was far more beneficial to companies to hire 2 workers and who work for long hours than hire 3 workers who work regular hours, because they had to give health insurance, office space, and personal services, etc. to those people. So this has been the case. Now, with her work, with the work that this person has done, Claudia Golden, so the United States of America, I mean, like, or the societies across the world, they'll be able to mold the work environment. So in this article, they have talked about the importance of molding the work environment. Means like if we have a work environment that is more favorable for women, okay, the work environment that is more favorable to women, so women will also be able to, let's say, participate in the economic activity more, because like we need to understand about different gender roles. I mean, like women have to devote their time at home because of caring the children, so that's important. So in this article they have discussed about this, okay, reshaping the environment. So they have stressed upon reshaping the environment. Means like work environment can make proper schedule for work. They can talk about regular schedule. I mean, like during week these will be offs, these will be the timing of work. If they stick to that, the women will also be participating there. And if women are not participating in work, so it is leading to a kind of like one section of the population deprived from their, let's say, like productivity in the economic sphere. So here in this article they have said that gender ideologies often prompt couples to assign women to take over extra family duties while men remain free to concentrate on their careers. So that's why men has progressed more in their careers like this. Okay, so this is the thing. Way forward, they have talked about that, like the work environment should change. We should mold the work environment. We should sensitize the corporates. We should sensitize the workplace owners that, like you should make your schedule in such a manner that even women and men can work together. They can, let's say, like have proper participation in the work, and for that, like your environment should change, because in many workplaces what the owners want, they want the people to stay back for long hours. They want people to work more. Generally men are able to do it, otherwise women have to go early at home, because like it is a compulsion from the home side also that women should come early at home. Lot of things are there. So they say, like the workplace should be molded, the environment in the workplace should be made more congenial, so that like women can also participate equally at workplaces. There should be no overtime work. No, overtime works can be there, but nowadays many companies in the US, they have adopted rotational shift. I mean, like if they need people to work in later hours, so they can ask other people to come in the later hours. So that has been adopted by many organizations, many corporates. They have rotational shifts. I mean, morning shift, afternoon shift, evening shift, graveyard shift, like that. Okay, so that has been the case, but largely it is with the corporate entities, big organization. Smaller organization do not have such structures. Their owners are not sensitized enough. Okay, so that's why people who are working over there, they are under constant insecurities. I mean, like if I don't overwork, I may be expelled from the workplace. So these are insecurities that the people face in their workplace. That's the thing. So now we have another topic. It says Israel-Hamas and the laws of war. This is a very, very important article. Through this article, we are going to understand about some concepts of international law. Okay. So we are going to discuss about many concepts of international law through this topic. Name of the topic is Israel, Hamas and the laws of war. Okay. Israel, Hamas and the laws of war. So we need to understand, do we have some laws of war? Yes, we do have laws of war. Generally, there are international laws that, let's say, like, lays guidelines that, like, these should be the tactics of warfare. These are the things that are allowed during a warfare situation. These are the things that are prohibited, like that. Okay, so there are international laws. And so the laws of war will be discussed in this article with the context of Israel-Hamas war. As we already discussed that, like, Hamas has launched an attack on Israel and then Israel is retaliating. However, in this attack, right, human beings are being killed. So in international law, there are certain norms, and these norms are known as jus ad bellum. Okay, so there are some norms. So these norms of international laws. Okay, so these are, one of the norm is jus ad bellum. Okay, this is one of the norm. Second norm is jus in bello, LL, jus in bello. Okay, so these are two, let's say, like, these are two known terms. Jus ad bellum means, like, this is known as jus ad bellum. Like, first, under what condition or when can countries use force in their international relations? Okay, so in this case, what has happened? For example, if we talk about Hamas on one side, if we talk about Israel on the other side, so Hamas and Israel are in a state of war with one another. Hamas has already launched an attack, right? And Israel is retaliating, right, through another attack. So this is, so Israel is doing in response to the recent attack, and Hamas is doing because of Israel has occupied territories of Palestine. So both have a reason to attack one another. Okay, both have a reason. So the thing is, like, jus ad bellum, it talks about what are the reasons, right, that allow different countries to use force in international relations, right? So reasons for using of force, reasons for using force in IR. Okay, using force in international relations. So now Israel is using force, and what is the reason is there? Because their civilians have been killed, right? So this is the reason. So jus ad bellum talks about those reasons that can be used by different countries as, let's say, legal thing for them to attack other countries, to use force in international relations. And jus in bello, this is another term in IR. This says, jus in bello says, how is a war to be fought? That is, what military actions is permissible, right? So it says reason, like why you should war, and this talks about how, right, the use of force can be done. Okay, how the warfare, how the war is to be fought. Okay, how the war is to be fought means, like, it does not say about different steps. It talks about, like, what are the things that are permissible in international law. Okay, so in this article they have discussed about this, and they have discussed about many other provisions also. For example, during a war with, let's say, like, if a country is in war with other country, so in that case, right, so under international, so any kind of war that is happening between two countries, so here comes international humanitarian law. Okay, these laws are known as international humanitarian law, IHL. So international humanitarian laws talk about that, like, talk about two important things. One is what are international, let's say, warfare, or other is non-international warfare. I mean, like, in this article they have used the terms, like, one of the term is, just a minute, I'll make them clear. It is international armed conflict, non-international armed conflict. Okay, one is international armed conflict, international armed conflict, IAC. Then second is non-international armed conflict. Okay, NIAC. So if we talk about what is international armed conflict, if we talk about example of it, example is Russia-Ukraine war. Russia-Ukraine war. In international armed conflict, generally two or more states, right? Two or more states are involved in war. Two or more states are involved in war. International armed conflict. Russia is a state, Ukraine is a state. But if we talk about non-international armed conflict, the example would be Hamas versus Israel. Okay, Hamas versus Israel. Because Hamas itself is not a state. It's an armed group. In this article they have talked about it's an armed group. So whenever we have armed group, if it is fighting with any country or a country is fighting with an armed group, so that is non-international armed conflict. Non-international armed conflict are defined under common article 3 of the Geneva Convention. Okay, under common article 3 of what? Geneva Convention. Then international armed conflict is mentioned under common article 2. Okay, common article 2 of Geneva Convention. So Geneva Convention forms a part of international customary law. It's a part of international customary law. So these are part of international humanitarian law. They say that whenever two countries or two groups are fighting with one another, let's say like on one side Hamas is fighting, on the other side Israel is fighting. So under international law it is permitted that they use proportionate force against one another, but they should not kill civilians. Okay, so civilians, right? I mean like civilians should not be killed, right? As far as possible. I mean like civilians should not be killed. So there should be distinction between military apparatus and civilian apparatus. Military personals, military establishments, military ammunitions that can be attacked, that can be killed by other military personnel, their arsenals and all. But the thing is like they should not attack on the civilians, because civilians are not at direct warfare with one another. Okay, so in this article they have discussed about it, and they have discussed about that like if civilians are killed, right, so that is illegal. If civilians are killed in a warfare, so that is known as an illegal activity. Okay, if civilians are killed. How? For example, here they have talked about Rome Statute. Okay, Rome Statute. So Rome Statute talks about this particular thing. I mean like Rome Statute that has led to the creation of this International Criminal Court. The Rome Statute itself says, okay, so Rome it has led to the creation of International Criminal Court. So they itself say that civilians should not be killed. Okay, civilians should not be killed. If civilians are killed, so it is illegal under international law. Okay, it is illegal. So the attack that Hamas has done, which has killed civilians, that was illegal under international law. And Israel, that is, let's say, displacing huge number of people from Hamas. They have, let's say, released a pamphlet, they have released a warning to the northern Gaza people that you should leave northern Gaza and reach southern Gaza. And so they have not given much time. So they should be given much time. This is also a kind of, let's say, breach of international law. Okay, so whatever Israel is doing is illegal, whatever Hamas has done is illegal. So here they have said, in this article they have said both the thing. Okay, so the primary object, basically they have said this, and in this article they have said that the primary objective of international humanitarian law is that during an armed conflict a distinction is always made between combatants and civilians. War parties can only attack combatants and military targets, not civilians and civilian objects. Okay, that's the thing. So this is an important topic. This is an important topic that makes us understand about these international humanitarian law. And under international humanitarian law, you might have heard about this Red Cross. You might have heard about Red Cross Society. Okay, Red Cross Society. Or you might have heard about Doctors Without Border. Okay, Doctors Without Borders. So what is the work of this particular organization, Doctors Without Borders? So in this case, what happens, let's say this is one country, this is another country, they are, let's say, like at war with one another. Okay, so let's say this is like just for this thing, Hamas, Israel, so they are in war. So this particular organization, Doctors Without Border, they actually work in the war zones. So whenever two countries or two armed groups are fighting, so they have their camps over there. And in these camps, they have doctors. And these doctors are treating those soldiers who are wounded, no matter from which country they come from. For example, if there are Israeli soldiers who got wounded during a war zone, So they will be treated by this organization, Doctors Without Border over there. It's an international NGO. So they will be treating this particular soldier, and after this soldier gets, recovered, so they will be handling this soldier to the respective authorities. They are not going to handle it to the opposite thing. Then, so they will they are working for the sake of saving the lives at the warfare. Okay, no matter whether it is a civilian or a military personnel. So they are international NGOs, and they have been recognized by the United Nations organization also. There was one specific person who has led to the formation of this international NGO. He has done a great work. He was himself an engineer, but he has witnessed that during war zone, people who are killed, although they are fighting for a nation, but the thing is they are, let's say, lives, okay? So the thing is, if they are affected, they need treatment, irrespective of their nationality and all. So with that vision, they are working, International Red Cross Society or this Doctors Without Borders. Although in this article they have not mentioned, but this is part of international humanitarian law. Okay, that's the thing. So there are war crimes that are there. Then also, if a soldier is captured, in this case Hamas has, let's say, captured the soldiers of Israeli soldiers. If hostages are taken, so taking hostages is an illegal activity under the eyes of international law. Hostage taking is an illegal activity. And also, let's say, there is a soldier. If a Israeli soldier is captured by Hamas people, so what they can do to that soldier is also regulated under international law. They say that soldier should not be tortured. They say, there should be fair treatment to the soldier. There should be all possible ways to give access to that soldier to the Israeli authorities, so that they can talk, they can, let's say, bring that particular person back. So there are, let's say, Geneva Convention on Consular Access, like that. So a lot of things are there. So they talk about this. So people who are captured during war, they are known as prisoners of war, okay, POW. And there are, let's say, rules that are mentioned that how the prisoners of war must be, let's say, how they should be treated. What are the things that cannot be done against them, like this. So, sir, under NIAC, use of nuclear missile are permissible. So it says non-international armed conflict. So he's asking that under non-international armed conflict, is the use of nuclear weapons permissible? See, the thing is, so far after the World War II, during World War II, we have seen use of atom bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Use of atom bombs was done by United States of America on Japan. But after then, let's say, many treaties have been signed. For example, Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, which is also known as NPT, right? So this NPT strives that no country should acquire nuclear weapons. All those countries that already possess nuclear weapons, they are not willing to give up their nuclear weapon. However, they are in favor that no further proliferation should happen on nuclear weapons. Why? Because nuclear weapons, if nuclear weapon is launched somewhere, so it is going to use indiscriminate force against, let's say, civilians as well as on military personals. And if we have seen just now under international law that it is mentioned that, weapons, or let's say, this thing should not be used against civilians. Only armed person who are into the battlefield, they should they should be targeting one another. That's the thing. So use of nuclear weapon is prohibited under international law, but those countries who have already acquired, they do not want to give up this thing. So there are multiple groups also international. For example, we have missile technology control regime, MTCR. We have Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty. We have Wassenaar Arrangement. We have Australia Group. So these are dual use technology, kind of agreements. So they try to prohibit the use of nuclear weapons. And so far, after the use of atom bombs, no nuclear weapon has been used by any country. India is a nuclear state, so we have done kind of, let's say, nuclear, what we say, we have done nuclear testing, Operation Smiling Buddha, the test that we have done in Pokhran, okay, Pokhran 1, Pokhran 2. So that has led to, India being a nuclear state. Why countries are becoming nuclear state? To increase their capability of deterrence. We are a nuclear capable state, no one should think of attacking us. If they attack us, we are going to retaliate. So India has adopted no first use policy for itself. Means we do not want to use nuclear weapons in the first instance against any country, and we do not want to use nuclear weapons against a country that is non-nuclear. For example, Nepal is a non-nuclear country. We will not use nuclear weapon against them. So as part of our nuclear doctrine, we have, let's say, adopted this particular strategy that we will use nuclear weapons against only nuclear states, and we will use only when we are attacked through nuclear weapons. That's the thing. So that talks about the responsible use of nuclear weapons. Although every country says nuclear weapons should not be used because it's going to create World War III where the humanity may be wiped out. Okay, this is the thing. So Vijay Lal, is it understood? Use of nuclear weapon is non-permissible in international law. It is non-permissible. However, in the real politic, in the real world, people have acquired nuclear weapons. That's the thing. Repercussions is like United Nations Security Council puts sanctions on the countries. The International Criminal Court issues arrest warrants against the head of the states, like who was responsible for conducting the war crimes, or let's say crime of genocide, etc. Okay, so these are the things. I mean, like in international law, there are norms in place, but there are less mechanism to enforce them. Okay, so the United Nations organization is there, the UNSC is there. They try to do their part. Okay, otherwise, like if we talk about international law, international relations, it's mightier is the one who is setting the rules. Okay, this is the thing. I mean, like this is the reality. The mightier states, so they are, let's say, like setting the rules of the war. That's the thing. Now we have another topic. It says UN approved Kenya-led security mission to Haiti. Okay. So now what has happened, Haiti, as we have seen in the map initially, during our discussion we have discussed Haiti. So Haiti is an island. So it occupies 1/3 of an island which is known as Hispaniola Island. It's there just above the Caribbean Sea. It's there in Atlantic Ocean, right? So we have seen the location of Haiti. So what has happened in Haiti, I mean, like, Haiti has a government, and that government, the prime minister of that government, he is not supported by majority people over there. And they have limited armed forces, they have limited personnel, they have limited number of people who are serving in the police. So recently there was a group, its name is its name is G9 and family. This G9 and family, what they have done, they have seized control of entry to the main fuel port, right? In Varex, in the capital. Okay, so this particular group, they have controlled the entry, they have captured that particular thing. And since they have controlled over here, so after then what has happened, most of the facilities in that country, I mean, like the hospitals, so one of the organization which is UNICEF, they have recently reported that 3/4 of the country's major hospitals, right, were hit due to the blockade. I mean, like they did not get proper power because fuel was regulated through this particular grouping. So the prime minister of that particular country, he sought support from international community, and Kenya has extended its support. So Kenya has said that we are going to come forward, we are going to provide you support against not only this group but other armed groups in your country. So this particular thing has been approved by the United Nations Security Council. Okay, it has been approved. So they are going to deploy their forces. Kenya is going to deploy its forces where? In Haiti. Okay, they are going to deploy their forces. However, they are not deploying it immediately. They may deploy after 2-3 months from now. Okay, so they may deploy the forces after 2-3 months from now. So in this article, they have talked about that why other countries, I mean, like, are not willing to support the cause of Haiti, because earlier also there have been cases that Haiti needed support of people. So that time, I mean, like, Haiti was supported. Okay, Haiti was given operational support. Last time they have received support was in 2004. Okay, and they have not dealt with well with those people who have provided support. So that's why other countries are reluctant. However, Kenya has thought that it is going to support. Apart from Kenya, some other countries have also come forward that they are going to support, and these are also very small countries. Okay, so in this article they have mentioned names of these countries also. Okay, in this article itself they have mentioned. So it is multinational security mission. Okay, so UN peacekeeping mission to Haiti has ended, and like this multinational security mission is being operated. Okay, multinational security mission will not be operated by the UN. Kenya has volunteered to lead the force. Okay, so this is a voluntary agreement of Kenyan government that they are going to provide operational support to the people of to the police forces of what, Haiti. And other countries like Bahamas, Jamaica, Antigua and Barbados, okay, Barbuda. So they have also like extended their support like that. Okay, so this is, let's say, just for us to understand. We have seen the mapping topic also related to this. So with this, we have another topic: why French AI firm Mistral's language model. Okay, Mistral's language model divides the developers community. So in this article, they have talked about this particular thing, which is like, let's say, like, this large language models. So large language models are being developed by many other countries, many other, let's say, companies. One of the company that is developing is Meta. So Meta is the parent company of Facebook. Okay, so their large language model is known as Llama 2. Okay, Llama 2. So this is the, yes, Llama, Llama, okay, Llama 2 of Meta. This is large language model, but this is another company. Mistral is another company. So this Mistral company, they have also launched a large language model, and they are a very recent new company. So just after 1 month of their, let's say, like, announcement, they have received huge financial support from big players. The big players that include Lighthouse, Lightspeed Venture Capitals, French billionaire Xavier Niel, and former Google CEO Eric Schmidt. So they have, let's say, supported financially to this particular organization, and they have recently released one large language model. Okay, so this large language model has around, let's say, like, huge number of parameters. Parameters are inputs. Okay, so they have released 7.3 billion parameter. Okay, 7.3 billion parameter large language model. And earlier also Meta has developed, let's say, a greater large language model. So in this article, they have talked about that unlike OpenAI's ChatGPT model, details of which are still under wraps and are available only through their APIs, the Paris-based firm has released its model on GitHub under the Apache 2.0 license, free for everyone to tinker with. Okay, so what they have done, this particular organization, OpenAI, ChatGPT that they have launched, so their source code is with the organization itself. Only users can use this particular thing. I mean, like, we can use this particular ChatGPT for our purposes. We do not have any source code. We will not be able to tweak anything. But this organization, Mistral, the large language model that they have developed, they have released it in GitHub. Where? In GitHub. So GitHub is a place where, like, earlier also we have discussed about GitHub, we have discussed about Bitcoin, cryptocurrency. So that was also developed here. So open community, people can participate in development, in making it better. So they have released over here. So many people, so they like, the coding community has divided. I mean, like, those people who are working for profit motive, so they are against the release in the GitHub, because GitHub, I mean, like, it is freely available to people. So that's the thing. Okay, so they have made it freely available to people. So that's why, like, people are divided. So in this article, they have discussed little more on this topic. However, we just need to understand that, like, Mistral's model versus Llama 2. Mistral in a report claimed its AI had bet this, 7 billion and 13 billion parameter version quite easily in multiple benchmarks like that. So now there is a competition that is happening. Meta's LLMA and this Mistral. Okay, name of a company. It's not a subsidiary. It's a new company that has been established by few employees who were earlier working. One of the employees was earlier working in DeepMind, and two were working in Meta. So two Meta employees have left and they have started their own company, Mistral, like that. And they have been, let's say, like, financed also by these. So that's why developer community is divided. Now we are talking about another topic, and we have a question. It is with reference to Indian Ocean Rim Association. Okay. Yeah. So consider the following statements. Indian Ocean Rim Association includes 23 countries situated in and around Indian Ocean. Second, its apex body is the Council of Foreign Ministers, which met annually. And third is Bangladesh took charge as chair 2023 from Sri Lanka. So like you need to answer this question. However, I did not include that topic today for discussion. Correct answer is B, means only two of the above statements are correct. So you need to go through. First is incorrect. Third is incorrect here. 22 countries were there earlier. Membership includes 23 countries. Maybe one more country has joined. I also read long back 22 countries. One more country may have joined. So here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Maybe Yemen has joined recently. Indian Ocean Rim Association. Okay. So like that. We have another topic, and this topic is from Science and Technology. This topic was there in e-version of the newspaper. Okay, so it was very difficult topic, maybe, right? So basically in this topic they have talked about new quantum engine. Okay, so like I may be teaching this thing in detail in the Science and Technology class. It says new quantum engine does work by flipping the identity of atoms. Okay, flipping the identity of atoms. So in this article they have basically discussed about 2-3 things. One thing they have discussed about fermions. They have discussed about mesons, and they have discussed about Pauli exclusion principle. Okay, Pauli exclusion principle. Now we need to understand, okay, not mesons, they have discussed about bosons. Okay, they have discussed about bosons. Okay, so like these are part of the standard model of physics. So when we talk about a standard model of physics, we discussed about physics at subatomic level. I mean like physics at subatomic level. So at subatomic level, we have fermions, we have bosons. Bosons are basically, I mean like they are the forces that are responsible. Fermions are subatomic matter. Okay, fermions are building blocks of matter. Bosons are particles that carry the force acting between them. Okay, so bosons carry this nuclear forces or other kind of forces. So they are responsible for the forces, and they are the subatomic particles. So in this article they have said that like quantum engine has been developed by scientists, which does work by flipping the identity of atoms. Flipping the identity of atoms means inside the atom what happens. Let's say this is the atom. So at the center we have a nucleus. Okay, we have a nucleus, and around nucleus, let's say like we have different shells, and these shells has electrons, and they have different bonds. These are known as valence bonds, etc. Okay, so like the atom, the electrons that are just near to the nucleus, they have lesser energy as compared to the atoms that are electrons that are far away from here. Okay, so the thing is like they are at different valence bonds, they are at different energy levels. So the thing is, in this article they have talked about how we can excite the energy of an electron within an atom. If we can excite the energy of an electron within an atom, so it's going to reach to a higher let's say energy level, and it's going to behave differently. So in this article they are talking about quantum engine. Quantum engine are able to, let's say like excite the electrons in an atom, which is going to assume, let's say, another energy level, and it's going to behave differently. Okay, so that's why they have said that by flipping the identity of the atoms. Okay, so they have discussed this thing. So here they have discussed about, let's say like 4 different types of quantum numbers. Okay, these 4 quantum numbers basically like I will talk about this. One is known as principal quantum number, Then we have azimuthal quantum number, we have magnetic quantum number, and we have spin quantum number. So those people who are from science background, so they know what is spin quantum number, they know what is, let's say, हाँ 11th-12th की केमिस्ट्री में यही है, ठीक है, मतलब लाइक जैसे प्रिंसिपल क्वांटम नंबर, फॉर एग्जांपल इफ यू टॉक अबाउट प्रिंसिपल quantum number. So this principal quantum number is denoted by the letter L. It talks about कि कौन से वाले shell में, let's say like this is an atom, ये अलग अलग, ठीक है, how many like you know these things are there. Generally यहाँ पे first वाला जो layer है, it has 2 electrons. Then second वाले में मतलब at most it can have 8 electrons. Then third में 18 electrons. तो कितने shells है, that is shown by the principal quantum number. Then we have azimuthal quantum number, we have magnetic quantum number, we have spin quantum number. Spin quantum number में मतलब प्लस हाफ या माइनस हाफ नंबर असाइन करते हैं टू आ पर्टिकुलर इलेक्ट्रॉन, कि प्लस हाफ है मतलब फॉर एग्जांपल जो इलेक्ट्रॉन होता है दे आर स्पिनिंग, मतलब आइदर दे आर स्पिनिंग दिस वे और दे आर स्पिनिंग दैट वे. वन ऑफ द स्पिन मतलब लाइक दे आर रोटेटिंग, वन ऑफ द रोटेशन इज गिवन प्लस हाफ, कि अगर मान लो कि ये एंटी क्लॉकवाइज रोटेट कर रहा है तो प्लस हाफ, क्लॉकवाइज रोटेट कर रहा है तो माइनस हाफ. इट इज लाइक दैट, ठीक है. तो स्पिन क्वांटम नंबर, देन मैग्नेटिक क्वांटम नंबर. सो इन दिस आर्टिकल दे हैव टॉक्ड अबाउट that the scientists have worked on these quantum numbers and they have tried to change them so that matlab like you know these fermions can be made, right? Fermions are the building blocks of electrons also. Electron किससे बनते हैं? fermion से बनते हैं, ठीक है. मतलब like we need to go for reading the standard model of physics. So I have discussed about the standard model of physics in the let's say science and technology class in the previous batch. Okay, there were few lectures. I have done around 3 lectures on this topic in detail. So there we can understand this thing. ठीक है. So here we need to understand कि हाँ कुछ new discovery हुई है, ठीक है. It's like you know quantum engine बनाया है उन्होंने. So in this article they have discussed about this thing. All particles in a system are distinguished by 4 quantum numbers. These values, ठीक है. तो वो जो quantum number है मतलब that we have discussed now. They will not be able to understand. People who have studied also, they will feel huge amount of difficulty in understanding this topic. Trust me, I have taught this thing. I do not remember all of it what I taught last time, but I have taught the standard model of physics. The standard model of physics में we study about the subatomic particles. मतलब we study about bosons, we study about fermions, we study about let's say mesons. मतलब like how they lead to the formation of electrons, proton और न्यूट्रॉन, वो कैसे फॉर्म होते हैं. दीज आर फॉर्म्ड बाय दीज सब एटॉमिक पार्टिकल्स. हाँ ठीक है, वो चीज़ है. हाँ, पॉलिस प्रिंसिपल्स ऑफ लेट्स से एक्सक्लूजन. तो वो कह रहे हैं कि अगर जैसे एनर्जी लेवल को हम बहुत कम कर देते, एकदम कम कर देते, तो सो विल द मैटर विल डिसअपियर. तो पॉलिस प्रिंसिपल बोलता है नहीं डिसअपियर होगा. देयर विल बी अ पॉइंट कि उसके बियॉन्ड आप एनर्जी उसका डाउन नहीं कर सकते हो. मतलब इट्स लाइक दैट कि इलेक्ट्रॉन्स आर एट सर्टेन एनर्जी लेवल, ठीक है. मतलब लाइक न्यूक्लियर के बाहर है. तो अगर जैसे बहुत ज़्यादा एनर्जी लेवल है तो एक्साइटेड स्टेट में रहेगा, कम करोगे वो नीचे नीचे आएगा. वो कह रहे कि अगर उसका एनर्जी लेवल हम 0 कर देंगे विल इट डिसअपियर. सो इट इज़ नॉट लाइक दैट. सो मतलब पॉलिस एक्सक्लूजन प्रिंसिपल इज एसोसिएटेड विद दैट. एक बार और पढ़ना है, ठीक है. वी नीड टू रीड, इवन आई नीड टू रीड दैट थिंग अगेन, ठीक है. दीज आर मतलब लाइक यू नो हाई लेवल ऑफ फिजिक्स, ठीक है, मॉडर्न फिजिक्स, ठीक है. So that's all for the day. Thank you so much everyone for attending today's session. I hope you have a good day ahead. Thank you.